What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the SSJ Cast. We're back for another week, and today we will be getting into some news while I apparently check something because, of course, I'm a degenerate. So let me go ahead and flip on over to the screen that's working. If my computer doesn't freeze and die. Hello. Hello. There we go. It works.
SSJ quality right there, dog.
All right.
SSJ quality.
So, Shazzyn and Alejandro, I need y'all to intro yourselves while I try to determine if something's actually broken or not.
Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. It's your boy, Young Sinus, Old Pepto-Bismol, Young Struggle Bus, No Bread in the House, Shazzyn.
Oh, whoa. What's up with my focus? What the fuck?
The focus, the quality.
This literally never happened before. What the fuck is going on?
Strix is super low. We're dying.
I'm super low. I might just not be talking super loud.
Everything
That could
is
very
falling
much
apart.
be a thing. My energies.
It's the negative energy, man. This is the negative energy. And I can't even look at my Logitech settings because Discord, apparently. All right, that's awesome.
I have a separate webcam setting for it,
Okay.
even though it's Logitech.
Hello. Okay. And the other person that has to introduce himself because we know how this works. Other person.
Do we? Do I have to introduce myself?
People probably don't know who you are.
I mean, that's fine. They don't need to know. It's your boy, Young Degenerate. I'm tired.
Young
It's
degenerate.
It's Alejandro.
Poopo.
I draw things.
Yep.
I talk about things. Everyone's dead right now. This is like the very low energy episode this week.
Yo, I told people that last week wasn't the beach episode.
Hey man.
This week.
I mean, we were also supposed to have a guest, but that guest got called in for work, so he was not able to make it this week. But
We
you
never
know.
would have guessed the real life okey doke.
Also, Shazzyn is
Dead.
slightly dying, so
But he doesn't accept our.
we told him, hey, maybe we should postpone this,
He doesn't
but he was
take
like, nah,
his paid off time. All right.
nah.
Well, I think the other thing is fixed. We're good. Hey, no, it's not. All right, cool.
Oh, Jesus.
My
Oh
name is
man.
Strix. We're here for the podcast. Thank you, Shaz, for those. We're here for the podcast. And we are going to be talking about quite a few things today. Today is the episode where after a month it all falls apart, but we keep going because we're troopers. Starship troopers, that is.
Don't. Are you? Is this?
It's
Is this?
been a weird. It's been
Okay.
just a really weird week. So let's go with Mr. Poopo. Mr. Poopo. What was your week like? What games did you get into? Did you devour? Did you love? Did you hate?
I mean, is Grid 2 still free on Humble Bundle?
Probably.
For anyone who's interested, Grid 2 racing game on Steam, free on Humble Bundle. Don't know if it's still free right now. Don't know if that's still going on, but if it is, check it out. It's a good game. I've been playing it recently. I like racing games, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Ooh, that recommendation.
Yeah, beyond that, I'm still watching Dexter. I'm on season 3. I'm watching with a friend. And, I got that young pre-owned GameStop copy of Under Night Inbirth. So, that's been cool.
Buy your games on sale. Buy your games when there's a sale, people. Give up your Starbucks. Give up your Starbucks. It'll save you GameStop copies with stickers.
This was literally the only way I would have been able to buy the game, sadly. So.
Or you could have bought it before Monday at 11 p.m.
I wasn't able to. I literally just wasn't able to. I wasn't.
You could talk to.
I wasn't.
Didn't talk to
No.
the people that you could have.
No.
Nah. Shaz, what did you do this week?
I was playing terribly in Unist. My hands didn't work. What else did I play this week? Oh, just some FF. Just finished Stormblood. Almost finished In Between. I mean, that's pretty much it as far as games go right now. Oh, and got back into Destiny. Yeah, Destiny's been fun. Getting all my gear
That's
again.
a whole lie. You know that's a whole lie. I seen you.
What?
I seen your face. Destiny was what got you sick.
That makes sense, actually. That makes sense.
Thunk. It probably is.
Did it give you a virus?
Probably. In multiple ways. Multiple times. Anything interesting? No? Anything else?
Interesting? I don't think so. Nothing crazy happened. My weeks are pretty non-eventful, unfortunately, but
You get a job yet?
nope.
Damn.
Maybe I wouldn't be sick if I wasn't so broke.
Hey, donate to twitch.tv/Shazzyn. Get the IRS on this man's ass.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? I've moved this week, and then we played Unist, Final Fantasy, Destiny. I feel like I'm missing a game. League.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing video games. We played some video games this week, and it was an alright week. Season of the Drifter started for Destiny, and we have had a couple of story points that have already started to come out and shape. It looks like it'll be a pretty good season for lore, Destiny-wise. For those who don't know, Destiny's story has been kind of like dropped piecemeal week by week over the course of their annual pass seasons. Again, if you, like Shaz was saying, if you haven't played Destiny in a while and on the annual pass, you can get caught up in an hour and a half max.
Yeah.
It's super useful. And then Final Fantasy 14, we're also just grinding away. Still haven't beat Leviathan. Still in our asshole. But we found a really cool dungeon in the meantime called Sasano. And that boss is kind of awesome. Who else?
You fought yourself. You defeated yourself
I
this
knew
week.
shit. Eunice. Eunice is a fighting game. Anime as fuck. That you'll see more of. You'll definitely see more of. It's got announced for Evo. It was on sale. It's on sale on PC this week, I believe, for
Is it
40? It's like $20 off.
I'll check.
20 or $30
Yeah.
off. It might be 30.
I think it's like
It might be
like 30.
Yeah.
It was like $30. It's not bad.
So check that out if you are interested in that one. And then beyond that, like, week was pretty just me not sleeping. Please don't make those sounds because I don't know whether you're being you or you're dying. Please.
Yeah, up until the 27th, Under Night in Birth latest is on sale on Steam for $31.99. 20% off.
That's
Usually it's 40.
It's a good game. Y'all should check it out. But with that said and done, we got through all of our intros. We got through who we are. We got through what we're doing. If you are new to the podcast, it's the SSJ Cast, where we talk about gaming, anime, and tech, and a whole bunch of other random shit because we are a bunch of degenerates on the internet. I like that word degenerates if you have not already realized. So let's get into the first.
I mean, that's what we are, so.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess, I don't know. We're not going to discuss the degeneracy of this podcast on the podcast. That would be too meta and we'd break the space-time continuum. We're going to get
We could set up lore with it.
The first piece of news. Phantasy Star Online 2 is getting an anime in 2019. Why the fuck did they put the trailer on Daily Motion, by the way?
That's where all the.
Oh my god, that is loud as fuck.
Yep. So for anyone who doesn't know, Phantasy Star Online 2. Well, Phantasy Star is it's pretty recognized RPG, both in the West and in the East. Anywhere you go, there are people who praise Phantasy Star. The thing is, Phantasy Star Online 2 is the game that is not available in the Americas. And it's only available in Japan. So if you want to play Phantasy Star Online 2, you basically gotta like patch the game in some sort of way so you can play in Japanese. It's a struggle.
No, I did it before. You can play the game in English.
Can you?
Yeah, there's a patch for it.
There's a
mod.
patch.
Yeah,
Okay.
people have. The game's so old, people have done it, and they're just
All
Strix
right.
servers that like, yeah, this server is just for Americans.
But it's
so
not officially supported. Yeah.
And
So-
of course, there's the ping to, you know, Japan.
Man, people do it all the time.
But,
300
but
ping isn't that bad.
but yeah, it's getting an anime this year. It seems cool. The animation seems nice. I can't tell if that's A1 Pictures or Ufotable. It looks like either or, honestly. But
Jeez, that's a huge discrepancy.
it looks like Sword Art Online A1
Mm,
is what I mean to say.
I'm gonna take a shot and say probably not because they were. I mean, it's all right, still going, so I can't imagine. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. It looks interesting. The animation seemed nice. I think I saw some CGI. It's been a bit since I saw the trailer, but no, it looks cool. If the anime is interesting, I'll be sure to check it out. So yeah, PSO2.
I mean, this is just a way for people to complain in the West that there's no English release already at this point.
Do you feel like it needs? Like I know at one point Fantasy Star was super big.
A lot of people want to play it.
I think
Alright.
the reason why Fantasy Star isn't nearly as big is because of this. Because Fantasy Star doesn't have a lot of games. They had that one game that came out like a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure. But it's like as far as the West is concerned, they're like, this is what they wanted because they played on the Dreamcast, you know.
Yeah, but
And-
that brings up my entire question because like I think
Mhm.
are we saying like it's a classic? It's kind of like a cult classic series that people would of course
Mhm.
love to see here in the West. Or are we saying like it's actually because that's my thing is when we nowadays because gaming is so mainstream, there are a lot of games that people want sequels to,
Mhm.
but is it like people want a sequel to?
I think it's
Especially
at
after this point, I think
I think at this point it's just more the fact that because of the internet and because anime games and a lot of people's interests are just aligned at this point that they're like, why isn't there a Western release? Like I'm willing to. It's the same thing as like I'm willing to give you money. It's like it's not. It might not be a big thing to like most of us here, but it's like there are people who are diehard fans who are like, I'm willing to give you money. Like I've been playing the non-official English patch this entire time, and I've been spending, dollars to yen in a game that's like halfway across the world. Like I don't
I'm
know.
wondering
It's-
if it might be one of those things where it would be the next time they make a Fantasy Star game, which will happen. We don't
Oh.
when it happens, we don't know.
yeah. Well,
But-
it already happened before.
Isn't this a Sega game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sega, which is why the trailer is not being shown.
Oh, okay, that makes sense actually.
That's why.
That makes a lot of sense actually.
Sega is interesting.
Yeah. So I personally, I remember playing the original on Xbox Live. Was it?
Because there was another Fantasy Star game on the Vita as well, but I think that was also only in Japan and China.
Speaking of dead,
So-
the Vita dead. What you talking about? Vita dead.
Vita means life.
Until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I think getting back to what you said though, whether it's a cult classic or whatever doesn't really matter to me personally. It's just the fact that it might be more of a joke at this point.
Mhm.
Not the game itself is a joke, but the fact that like, oh, it's gonna be a Western release this year kind of thing. It's like because it just seems
See-
so obvious to do.
just look, fans of Fantasy Star, listen to Strix. Listen to Strix. All right.
Stonks.
This is me being very honest with you. Look, you don't have to hide your tears in sarcasm, okay? You don't need to make a joke and pretend like it'll get released this year. Coming from someone that has multiple games that took more than a decade to release, just cry publicly. We'll shame you a little bit. Just a little bit. It needs to be a little bit of shame for crying publicly. But we also understand. You'll get there eventually. And I just don't hide it behind your jokes.
I mean, Fantasy Star Online 2 is 7 years old at this point. So
That's why I don't
Uh,
like. I think the game is. It sounds weird to say, but yes, if you're playing the English for patched unofficial version in Japan, you might be fine with it. I don't think that thing does super well in the modern day. Not because it's a bad. Not because.
I mean, it's just weird because they came out with a PS4 version 3 years ago, and they came out with a Switch version last year. So it's like, What's
Well,
happened?
I mean, I'm gonna make the argument that you have to take into account, um, you have to take into account the picking of servers in various places because you have to get
Oh, without a
localized
doubt.
servers in Europe, in America, and like the
I
cost becomes prohibitive. Not because I think the English patch is the difficult part, but because getting the infrastructure to make this a worldwide release at this point,
mhm.
especially unless you do something closer to like Blade and Soul, who's trying to fix that now, where for a long time the English version of the game was on a different patch than the
Yeah.
Korean
Well, to be fair,
version.
that game is trash. Um, just the character creator. Sorry, friends, but no, I'm being 100% honest. I think if I was Sega, because Sega is not the monster it used to be, so it's very much a, they don't develop hardware anymore. They develop, you know, just games. I mean, they develop hardware in terms of like arcades and stuff for their own proprietary stuff, but you know what I mean. They don't sell like consoles. I would just say being 100% because it's gonna happen. Just wait for Fantasy Star Online 3. If that's not English release, I'd be like, okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, that'd
Like
be kind of
I
stupid.
think
that'd be
that's them
that
officially
that
saying that they're just not
mhm.
trying to fuck with the Western market. They're perfectly
which
content with the Eastern
which
market.
which makes sense. That's perfectly fine. But if they do release a Fantasy Star Online 3 and people get mad at Sega, I can't defend Sega on that. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
come on, dude. Like,
people want to
but
play this shit, dog.
at that point. Like it's a new game and it'd be a really easy way to get newer players and people into Fantasy Star, especially the Western market, because it seems like a decent amount of people are asking for it. But yeah, I don't expect Fantasy Star Online to get a English version, but the next version, if it doesn't come out with it, I can't really defend it. I'd be like, well, I mean, you guys had a lot of time to do it, and you didn't do it. I mean,
But yeah,
same thing with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, but ultimately, what this comes back to the actual news story, is in the meantime, while you cry, you can watch the new anime that is airing sometime this year.
You can see what Japanese anime or Japanese players feel when they play the game.
How many MMO anime is that at this point? Like the last like 3-4 years.
That's a lot.
I feel like it's one of those another one of those genres that's kind of been exploding, and it might have to do with just
Well, it's
gaming's
not even just.
relevancy and like
I think there's that, but also because the companies that make the MMOs can just straight up afford it because they make so much money.
yeah.
Same thing with like Granblue. People like, how come Granblue all of a sudden has a bunch of stuff? I'm like, do you know how much money Granblue
yeah,
makes? Like, you crazy
and
people, like, how come there's an anime and like a mobile phone game and like a fighting game and a regular game from Planet? I'm like, you don't know. Same thing with Fate.
also
Exact same thing with Fate. They're like, how come Ufotable and all these people make badass anime, and then like you have Fate Go, which is like the number 2 or 3 like domestically making like mobile game in
mhm.
Japan, and it's like, dude.
Well, also you got to take into consideration that anime is it's a medium from promotion. Usually, when an anime is being
Oh,
made, it's usually to promote something. Anime for the new Promise Neverland, uh, Demon Slayer, fucking One Punch Man. All those animes are made as a promotion for the manga. For the most part, they're a promotion for the manga. They know they're not gonna make money out of it. It's usually like, okay, well, you know, people I feel like more people need to see this game. Let's make an anime out of it, and let's do that. And usually the more successful games try to go for like either the bigger studios or the bigger names. So, Fate went for UFO Table. They got like that, the action company for that. And so it just makes sense
I,
that,
I,
more anime are coming out for those kinds of
this
things.
isn't an MMO, but I played Rage of Bahamut like 5 years
Hmm.
ago, way before the anime, and like people are like, oh my god, the anime is great, and don't realize it's based on like a mobile game.
Yeah.
The
It's
mobile game was just a card collector game. That's it. That's all it was.
That's side games, man. Side games have made so much money to the point where it's like, all right, we're gonna invest in anime now.
That's cool. That's cool. It's good to see. I'm glad people are getting content for the thing they love.
Well, let me put it this way, Strix. It's not weird in Japan. It might seem a little weird everywhere else though, because mobile games are huge in Japan. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. And in America, they're like, it'd be like if Diablo
Not like
Immortal got a cartoon, and they're like, what?
let me be very frank, because that's something that isn't talked about in gaming or Western culture as much.
Hmm.
Uh, we're the minority. Like, if you play on PC, play on consoles, if you don't play on your phone, you're in the minority.
Yeah.
You are not who is pumping the most money into the gaming industry. You are not the largest base of people playing games.
I mean, everybody has a phone.
Yeah, and that's where it ultimately comes down to, is that mobile gaming, in this case phone gaming, is the biggest genre for a reason, or biggest platform for a reason. And there's a reason why also the market for mobile games have been developed in such a way that they're easy to make a lot of money on very quickly from a much wider demographic than us on PC, us on console, us wherever. I think that's one of those things that Western people need to really realize, that hey, some of these companies you love wouldn't be existing if they didn't make that bullshit phone game that you hate.
I really actually enjoy mobile phone games because it's not everyone. A lot of it is just Japanese based ones, but it's because it's like Strix said, it's really easy to make, but it's really hard to keep it up consistently and make it good.
Well,
Like,
as to go what you're kind of getting at, I don't play it, but I started keeping up with the Kingdom Hearts game ever since 3 came out. And shit, if they don't have to put out what feels like 3 updates a week, with more content coming into the game weekly.
there's a lot.
And you have to, and like every piece of content is judged by your hardcore player base so excruciatingly heavily. Like
If you check up what like the best American or Western mobile phone game is versus like Asian ones, it's not even close. Like both on you, like even the YouTube presence, like a lot of people I follow just like will play mobile phone games and they're just like Japanese games, whether because they're into games or anime or whatever, and those properties help them bring them, get them interested in that game. But they're like, wait, this game is actually like pretty good. Like, what's going on?
And that's the thing. It's like it's also a demographic thing, because the whole thing is like in America and all that stuff. We are the demographic for gaming here is PC and console gaming, but in Japan a lot of it is mobile. The big thing in Japan is mobile gaming, be it the Switch and carrying it around everywhere, being the 3DS and carrying that around everywhere, the PS Vita, and now the phone. So
I think that'll change in the next few years. I think that there's this very weird thing where we in the West are so averse to mobile gaming.
I can't even blame
for
them
for all the wrong reasons. Like I think a lot of people would assume that I'm on that platform of being averse to it. I just don't like playing games on my phone. That's just me being completely frank. I don't think that mobile game development should end. I think that it being expanded and bringing in more people that want to pump money into companies because it's a medium or a platform that they like.
It's a market.
Is better.
People want it.
And if we were to take that step, we can get to where Japan is, where you're allowed to be super heavy with your criticism, heavy-handed with your criticism towards these companies, with whether or not their platform, their model is super exploitative. Like here in America, we don't really talk about it unless it's the worst possible thing. Looking at you, EA. Like again, until Star Wars Battlefront 2, loot boxes are always kind of like they're bad, but how bad are they? They never.
Japan. I was laughing at that as a person who plays Japanese mobile phone games, because Japan just has gacha, and that's just a normal thing in Japan. And of course, everything's different because a lot of people grew up with that type of thing. But in Japan, and a lot of Asian things, they're like, here are the rates.
But that's what I mean.
People on Reddit and stuff will be like, okay, I'm gonna make a false account, spend like $100 and see what the actual rates are. People calculate over time, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty close to the actual rates that they.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's American. The NA is the problem there. NA, we are the only, like EU has consumer protection laws, and
they have to.
Everybody's trying to get that here, where. And this is something a lot of people don't think about when they think about loot boxes, and why loot boxes, and I extend this and I always talk about this, trading card games that you get your kids into, all of these things are gambling packaged up in a package that kids can digest. The difference is that, because if you don't, I'm saying in the West, because they don't tell you the rates. So the idea is they allow the
pull rates.
They allow that along with the whatever that fucking molecule or whatever it is, the dopamine injections
Dopamine.
to addict you to it, in that like you're looking for a gold release, but a lot of people, if they were like, hey, the top tier thing, Apex Legends, big people have been figuring out that there is a like less than 0.5% chance to get one drop in game. And the only reason why it exists as well is the devs have weighted almost like bad luck protection, weighted RNG where you will get the item within 500 loot boxes. That's a guarantee. But people have realized that the drop rate is super fucking low on that item, to the point that they have to do that. And if people knew that, hey, I'm shooting for a 0.25% drop, maybe I won't drop $100 on this, because that only makes it a 2.5% chance of me getting it.
Well, here's the thing also as well, right? Because that's a full-on just actual game.
Good.
But with side games also help develop Dragalia Lost for Nintendo, and side games is notorious for being amazingly stingy with their pull rates. Like, they're terrible. They're like, it's like, oh, this is upgraded rate and it's 0.5. Everything else is like 0.025% to get. But the reason why those games succeed is because side games usually have a way to raise characters you can get through the game to be actually good. And some of those characters are just better than the ones you pull. They allow it so that people who have bad luck, which is most people, don't feel pressure to like spend money, because in Japan a lot of those games give you tickets over and over and over again without having to spend money.
So they balance it.
They balance it because they're like, look, if you play this game regularly, not a lot, just regularly, like come in, maybe do daily stuff, play for maybe like an hour or two, you have enough to do maybe like a 10 pull. And you're like, okay, I did my temple for the day. That's that's all I need. And if you want to, you get the money. People still want whales. Let's not act like they don't want whales. Yeah. But that's the difference. They balance it out, which is great.
I think what you're getting at though is what goes back to like the legitimacy the market is seen with. Yeah. Like in America, we praise good design.
Yeah.
But it's not to the point where everybody's seeking to make and follow in the footsteps of that good design. Because they also know, like, hey, if I make this shitty thing that your grandma's going to get into and going to give me $400,000 in a year, I'm not going to care. Like, I mean, you're going to be that one person that calls me out, but it's not going to be news. It's going to be, it's not like we in the West don't seem to praise good marketing. I know what you mean. It's for making money, like a currency or
a consistency type of thing. I know what you're saying, because with the mobile games in the West, it's very much a, like you said, a Candy Crush or whatever, where it's like super lazy, and in and of itself isn't necessarily bad. But like Strix said, we want your old grandma to give us fucking $100,000 because our game doesn't really have anything going for it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. It's just a hit and run. It's a hit and run, right? We get in, we get out, and that's all we care about. And I think that's why a lot of NA games, mobile games, get a bad rap. Because I played good mobile games. I can only speak from Japanese games, but for me, I played a game for 2 years, and they give you consistently so many tickets because they're like, we just want you to play, dude. We want you to spend money too, but we're gonna let you get tickets just to get that thing going in your head, right?
Yeah.
But Japan's really. I think because it's so competitive over there, because they've done this for so long.
That's what I mean, yeah.
That it has to be good. Because side games, mind you, side games' whole thing was, we were too poor to make actual games. Like, that didn't say actual games, but like console games, because they wanted to do it, right? But they're like, we're too poor to do console games, but we can do mobile games because they don't take a lot to run. And now they're like one of the biggest ones in the world. And that's why there's so many games blowing up now, because they're like, okay, we have enough capital now to make an anime, to make a fighting game, to make a game by Platinum, to do everything. Because they're like, we finally achieved our dream. And they're like, we're still going to do mobile games because we're really good at it. We did it for like 15 years. We're super good at it now. So
they're like funding it and helping actually.
Yeah, they're super good at it now. They're just like, we're not going to not make mobile games because people love it. Because our mobile games, even though our rates are stingy, we give people enough options in the game to grow without. It's not that EA bullshit where it's like, look, you don't have to do the loot box thing, but you can just play the campaign or play multiplayer for 300 hours.
And somebody does the math, and it's like
what?
But that's my thing. to give
Yeah.
you a difference and to kind of put my point in perspective, we here in the West, you know who has the worst loot box systems in the West.
Yeah.
Easy to understand.
Easy.
How often do we have a conversation about who has the best model? How often do we have a conversation of who is doing it right in that not only don't you feel pressured, that a person that plays for free, they don't have every benefit, but they can still feel like succeed and keep up with somebody. They might have to invest, and this is a big conversation of like the financing of games in the modern day. Of like, how do you balance time and money and allowing players to use either resource to really progress through your game?
I think that's just something also Asia, they also are a lot more responsible with that. I've played games where they're straight up like, hey, this game has gachas in it. If you are, it's the conversation of we can only be responsible for you for up to a certain point, because people talk about how gambling is a thing in America, and it is with how they push it. Gacha in and of itself is very much gambling because it's rates, but the difference is in Asia, they're like, look, this is a 20. If you're 20 in Japan, it's like our 21 age. If you're 20, they're like, okay, if you're 20, you got to be 20 years old to play this game. There's gacha in this game. Please understand that we can't protect you from this. We're letting you know right now that this game has gacha prominently, and that's like, it's a small thing, but it's like, even though it's such a like a legality issue, it's such a like an offer. It's a hand that they're offering, even though it's nothing. Just be like.
But I would like to clarify that. I mean, that is a culture thing as well, because like having worked in a game store, like some of these games are rated M. Kids shouldn't be getting their hands on them.
Yeah.
But they are, and in turn, they're being exposed to a system that, especially if a parent doesn't recognize exactly what's going on with it. Like all three of us can easily look at something and be like, hey, I want to spend the money. I'm looking at Twitch right now. If I want to buy bits to give to somebody, I am an adult enough to be able to recognize that.
Right.
If I want to play a mobile game, I'm trying to think of a mobile game off the top of my head that it doesn't matter. If I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, cool. Yu-Gi-Oh. If I want to buy packs to unlock a card, cool. Now there's a lot of systems going into something like for another card game comparison, not a mobile game, but Magic the Gathering Online, where as you open packs, you get wild cards, you get enough wild cards, you can use that to make a copy of a card, a singular copy, which gets you into a cycle of, okay, if I play more, if I get more gems, I can kind of get more cards. If I play Arena and I do well, I can earn more gems to buy more packs, and it encourages you to get within the ecosystem, play more, get better, and that eventually turns into a self-sustaining model.
I think what you said on Yu-Gi-Oh also hits the point where it's like, that's the closest culture we have, which is when Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links came out, which is still a great game, by the way. Even though it can be paid when just in terms of pack openings, it's like there was no stink about people being like, oh, this is, loot box card opening packs, essentially, right? Because people who grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh was like, yeah, that's what I did as a kid. I went to go get a starter, because in the game, Strix knows there is literally a Jaden starter pack, Yugi starter
100%.
like box. Kaiba starter box, just like in real life, and you get regular packs.
And I would like to clarify that. I want to clarify on that note. What did I do? I was like, damn, I want to play the GX deck. I could pull these packs. I could pull packs and try to get all the cards I need, or I can drop $5 and grab the starter deck, which at least got me most of the cards I wanted. And at that point, you're allowing somebody to say, hey, damn, I don't really got the $5 to spend. All right, let me grind to GX and then grind GX, even if I gotta play Jaden over and over again, and I can.
And Yu-Gi-Oh especially, they're really good with giving you actually the gems that you need. Like every once in a while, they actually be like, oh yeah, here's a couple hundred gems, here's a couple,
drop cards as well that you want. They're like, farm this character to. It's again, that's the closest thing we have to like a Japanese mobile. I mean, it's a Japanese mobile game, but in the West, because most of us grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh. We're like, yeah, I'm gonna get one pack at the end of the grocery line. Just get a pack of 5 and get whatever I get. You don't think about it. Yeah. And it's like that's the closest thing we have. Again, I understand the whole gambling aspect as well, but that's the mindset of Japanese people. They're like, yes, I understand. I'm buying a pack at random with certain rates.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I say gambling, and I mean it in the way that Like,
America defines it or
well,
whatever.
no, it's not even just that. Like, understanding that it's a gamble. like,
Yeah.
like I still think
There's-
about at the mall where I used to buy Pokemon cards. You
Same
could
thing,
go in and you could see the case with all the cards, and you might look down and be like, "Oh, this is a $400 card," and then you see a pack for $3. Now, as a kid, you don't necessarily think about like, "Oh, is it in this set? Can I actually get the card?" Like, you don't know the kind of the expanded list of conditions to get that card in.
Mhm.
And that's why I say, like, for kids, it's a very deceptive marketing tool. Adults, I don't care. You can recognize it's gambling.
Mhm.
You're buying a chance to get something. Whether it's a giveaway, it's whatever. You're playing for the opportunity to possibly earn something. I think Japan and Japanese culture is more like, hey, like, it's a chance. If you want to do it, sure.
Mhm.
It's not on
And that's-
us.
And
And
that's why
people want to do it.
and games live or die by the rates, but side games, like I said, because there's so many other options to get characters and stuff that it balances out. The reason why Japan works with gacha is because they're just literally plastic little machines by like
Mhm.
convenience stores, out in the streets, in subways. You put like a quarter in, there's like 5 things you can get, and there's like maybe like 1 or 2 secret rares.
They have it
Like,
in GameStops now.
Yeah, and it's just a little tiny thing, and then it's like, okay, whatever. It's because it's such gacha is a huge part of Japanese culture for so long. The people in their 80s are like, yeah, I know about it because it's just something that we grew up with casually. It's nothing like a gambling issue. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it can. You can argue it's a gateway to gambling higher and higher with pachinko because that's also a huge deal in Japan. But
Mhm.
gacha is just a small thing kids, adults, and everybody just know about
It's just
because it's been
casual.
around.
But
Yeah,
that's-
it's something.
it's-
So that's why when it comes into a video game, like, yeah, I'm not worried about spending $5 in a video game because I understand that I can see the rates, I can see what I'm going to get, and I can see that okay, in a pack of 10, if I do a pack of 10, they'll probably give me 11 because that's how they do it, right? Because if you do,
Mhm.
you know,
If you're
And then-
responsible, you're gonna be responsible.
It-
If you're
it-
responsible about everything, you're gonna be responsible about
it
this.
makes to them it just makes sense because it's so normal, right? And again, I
Yeah.
get the
That's-
transition
That's what it
is
is.
a little jarring to the West, but in Japan, it's just like
Well,
I understand what I'm getting myself
but that's
into.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm kind of getting at. It's a progression of culture that's necessary. I think as mobile games continue to rise, as more companies come out and do the correct thing, as laws evolve, and inevitably it's going to take 1 or 2 more Battlefront 2s, and inevitably poll rates are put out there, like
Can we
your
talk
poll
about
rate.
that? That's the worst. That's the worst, by the way. The
It took
fact that-
somebody doing the math to say, hey,
It's-
like this is 400 hours for like one character.
By the way, that's a $60 game.
Yes.
Most gacha Japanese games are free, and even though if they have gacha in the video game themselves, it's free. It's in-game currency, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They have a gacha in that game to get characters, like certain weapons and stuff, but it's completely,
Yeah.
you can't spend real money on it. You have to spend in-game money because they're like, that's stupid. Why would we ever do that? Same thing with Monster Hunter. They were like, we thought about putting loot boxes, but they're like, that seems stupid. We want you to loot and grind. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of Monster Hunter. Like,
play the
that's
game.
what I get. I think the West is still at the point where we're having the conversation of should they exist or not. Not all
How
right.
should
They
they be
should
implemented?
exist. Yeah.
yeah.
How
How should they be implemented?
What is the
Yeah.
correct implementation? And once we get to there, I think you see a point where, like, people don't care. It doesn't become a thing. When we have kids, if our kid is like, hey, like that's a way to teach your kid, and this is just a random idea to teach your kid responsibility and understanding, like allowance. Like you could be like, here's $5 worth of gems in the game because you did well in school. Or you can have $5 here, and you can have the kid choose. Like, hey, do you want to buy this skin? That'll be your $5. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? All right, well, and if they had pull numbers, you could sit down with your kid and say, like, oh, well, which one do you want? Okay, cool. Well, that one, that's a super rare. So, I mean, there's a chance you'll get it. And a kid can start to put in context and contextualize exactly what's going on there.
Kids are smarter than you think.
You
they
want
are.
to know? I mean, you see that stuff in anime where they're like,
Mhm.
if I don't eat lunch today, I can get one more pull in this game, and they're like, I can do this. But to let you know how ingrained gacha is in games at this point, in Japanese games, I played a game, a new one actually, just trying it out. It's normal that after the tutorial, the game gives you gems or like a free 10 spin, and you have a chance to get like the highest rated, the highest rarity character, weapons, whatever, right?
Sometimes they just actually just give it to you.
Yeah, sometimes they do. And what people do is like people on Reddit and other stuff will rank each one, like which one is the best one you can get or whatever. And people do resets. So what you do is you close out the app, you uninstall it, and then you reinstall it, and then you just keep doing the tutorial over and over again until you get what you want.
That's what I did with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Straight up, new Japanese games now, they're like, you didn't get what you want, just hit the reset button. That's just a reset button. They're like, we don't want you to just uninstall, reinstall, log in, do everything all over again for like 10 minutes straight. Literally, there are Japanese websites dedicated to how fast you can reset the game.
Yeah,
they're like,
it's like a speed run.
They're just, well, it's not even, it's that, but it's just like how much time should you put in this game? Like how much of a bother it is to get this rarity. Yeah. It just, some developers like, look, we know you want the highest rarity, so we're just gonna literally put a reset button next to the gacha. Literally, you can reset it as many times as you want till you get what you want. And they're like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like they understand. It's just they just get it. Yeah. It's just so frustrating seeing stuff in America with loot boxes, especially in $60 games where you have to spend real money. Where it's like, what are you doing? The reason why this works is because it's free and everyone understands, okay, if there's an ad here or a loot box gacha here, it's understood because you're playing the game for free. They got to make the money somewhere. Like, we're all adults here.
I think, and that's again, this goes into how gaming is monetized in 2019, right? Like, the idea is
so frustrating.
We're in a, like, I feel like in a Western game, we now have literally like, all right, so are you a cosmetic only? Are you like a cosmetic plus boost? Are you allowing people to buy power? Do you have a season pass? Are you selling characters just individually? Are you selling costumes? Are you like, there's so many different ways that people try to monetize, or thanks to the Battle Royale, are you doing a battle pass season to season where you get some, like, there's so many different ways that we here in the West try to monetize, like, people to play our games post launch, that, like, you have to go into it almost like, all right, how bullshit is this? Like, are you the person that's like, this isn't powerful, but if you spent $500, you could get this thing that'll give you a one-hit kill on every shot. Don't you want it? Or League, Overwatch, where they're like, it's just cosmetic. You'll get a few as you play the game. If you really want the skin, buy a bunch of boxes and keep opening until you get it. But for the most part, you're good. Like,
I'm more towards that because it's literally just like, it's literally just skin. It's not really affecting him, and it's like, oh, you want this? Spend money on it.
But there's also a lot of people in the West whose opinion of that is, hey, I want this skin. Why can't I just buy this skin? I don't want the chance at buying the skin. I want to be able to just say, like,
I get that.
Most fighting games, because they're fighting games and they're from Japan, they're usually just like, if you want it, you can just buy it. Yeah, doesn't matter. As terrible as Street Fighter can be, they're like, if you want the costume, just buy it. We're
taking it to another level, Shaz. It came out, the king of costumes, the season pass of season passes, DOA is like, hey, yo, you want a costume for your character?
No, America's terrible. You can only get this costume by pre-ordering the season pass.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, hey, you can get this character for free if you pre-order now, or we'll release them like 6 months later for $10 that you then have to pay. So you'll probably want to pre-order the game so that we can make news headlines that our game has gone gold.
Arbitrarily $10 when the character is free, and it's like, what?
It's stuff like that gives it a bad rap. That's what gives the medium as a whole a bad rap, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, and that's what happened with Soul Calibur with the big bladed girl. I forget what her name is. Green hair, Joker looking bitch. But because the only way you could get her was to pre-order the season pass, I think, and they were honest. They're like, look, we did it because she didn't make it on the disc. She didn't make it on the disc, and I think that she gave her away for free. Or I don't remember.
But to me, that's being honest. That's another thing that devs have to recognize. If you honestly can say, like, hey, we would not be able to cover development cost on her, then people would understand.
Let me not get it twisted.
If you tell me, like, this doesn't exist unless you can pay for it now, and here's the reason why, kind of like how a lot of Kickstarters will do, like, here's how we spent the money. We did this, blah, 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 blah. Now, there's a lot of Kickstarters that just waste money and end up needing more, but there's also responsible companies that can come and be like, we're
and that's
really
the big
sorry.
Thing. It's like the communication aspect. Like, just
exactly.
Just tell us. And the thing is, it's like, that's usually is how the case is. It's usually, we developed this game and we only had enough for producing this much. All this extra DLC stuff, we're leaving that out of the game because we don't have the sufficient money to put that as the base game. Give us more money and we'll be able to give you that.
I think
that's usually how it works.
I just appreciate honesty as well in just terms of quality control. I'm not, look, don't get me wrong, Japan's gaming industry in general is just scummy as hell. But one thing I really appreciated was when straight up, like literally the same week or the week before or after, I forget, when Reggie retired, Nintendo dude came out on direct, just a direct for like 2 minutes, was like, so I know you guys are excited for Metroid Prime 4, but we tried making it and that shit was trash. So we're going to cancel it and we're going to hand it to the guys who made it originally and we're going to support them. Sorry, it's going to take a while, but we want it to be good. And I'm like,
if you do that, people,
there you go.
Like, that's all I just, it has to be a two-sided street of where devs treat your people like adults. Don't come up with some bullshit marketing answer because it sounds cool. If you're just real honest to say, like, hey, like,
straight up,
it's going to take another month.
Dude, director straight up went to head of, like, CEO of Nintendo, was like, this is not going to work. We hyped this game up and it's not going to be good. And they're like, who made it before? Give it to them. We're going to support them, but they made 3 of these bitches. I'm sure they know how to make the 4th one. Like, I appreciate that level of honesty where it's like, it's not like Strix where we wasted Kickstarter money or we wasted whatever money, where they're just straight up like, look, to the quality of the game, this is the 4th game in the entry. It's been a long time. We've been hyping this up. We cannot give this to you guys in good conscience. As much as it would probably give us a ton of money because we made it on the cheap because we know it'd be trash, we want it to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
like
that's the... Well, we can kind of close this because we have a lot of other topics.
I know.
But like it goes back
to for a whole
in the West, we have those conversations of like, wow, this game got passed studio to studio to studio. Why did that happen? If somebody just came out and said like low key, like we
don't
couldn't
make it.
We couldn't.
Yeah, couldn't.
Then like at least like you're gonna always have the asshole on the internet that's gonna be like, well, yeah, of course you didn't know how to make it. Your guys are fucking trash. But most of us will be like, I mean, at least you were honest about it. You tried your best. You realized you couldn't. They're passing it off versus like, oh, let's be all secretive. And then the game comes out and it's complete trash because you had 8 different developers in a 10-year span. And it's just like, okay, cool.
It's not, I don't think it's fair to judge the 4th one of a franchise of a video game to a new studio and be like, how come you didn't make it like the guys who made it or who came up with the whole thing originally, has all the proprietary knowledge on this video game and have made 3 amazing video games? How come you can't make it better than them? It's like,
sorry,
I don't got it. Like, that's how I feel, like, you know. But that's
sorry. So
let's be honest.
I think and I think this will be an interesting conversation to come back to, kind of as the years go on, to see exactly where the market worldwide has expanded to.
Global market.
Now, speaking of staying on kind of the topic of anime, all this came from the anime conversation. Polygon Pictures has an anime called Drifting Dragons. It's coming to Netflix in 2020. Even though this is probably going to get claimed, we're going to toss the trailer up. And
So the reason I put this here is because I'm super excited about this. I read a bit of the manga. It was kind of interesting. What I'm most curious about is that it's Polygon Pictures. And once again, they're showing off how much... Yeah.
Already, they're pumping out... Japan's coming out in 2 weeks.
Well, that's not Polygon.
Oh, that's right. That's
not Polygon. that's IG.
You're right. But they just
the Godzilla movies.
And I'm like, y'all computers ain't overheated. Like, what's going on? But okay.
And it's funny because the animation in that show, in that new Netflix anime, looks even better now. It's like I just love looking at Polygon Pictures is one of my new favorite studios when it comes to actually looking at them evolve.
Easy.
Because I've been following them for a few years now, and it's like seeing them progress and evolve in terms of their animation quality, their like lighting and everything, and their movement, the frame rate, everything just has been constantly evolving, and seeing them grow and produce content like I'm super excited. I'm super excited to check out this anime when it comes out.
They're not even my favorite 3D animation studio. They're my favorite animation studio, like one of them, like top 5 free right now. They're just so good. Like, they keep consistently. I'm like, when people tell me CGI in anime is bad, I'm like, please watch Polygon and like watch from like Knights of Sidonia to everything they've made on Netflix, like from Ajin to Godzilla to all this stuff, and I'm like, they've gotten so good. It's amazing. Like Alejandro said, from the lighting, to the frame rate, to like the facial movement on Godzilla was wild. I'm like, how did they do this in 3D?
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. And those movies got better with each one too. Like there's 3 of those movies.
It
and
really
each one,
did.
Each one, like the lighting, the effects, like the sound design. I'm like, you could have fooled me.
If you wanna see how CGI in anime is definitely evolving as it goes on, Polygon Pictures is one of the best examples. You look at where they began and where they are now, and it's like, and also they're doing that Star Wars CG show that currently airing at Disney.
Yes.
Yeah,
Star Wars Resist.
I think so. I think so.
Rebel? It's not Rebels because Rebels was the old one. I think it's
Yeah, I think it's Resistance.
Yeah, and that one's like a little on the side right now. But yeah, it's for me when like Polygon is like on full like blast. It's
Hard to beat.
it's not hard to beat. No one has beaten them in CG.
Wow.
Because it's like there are companies, there are anime that come out and it's like, all right, the CG is definitely better than Polygons, but it's like it's the consistency and seeing Polygon consistently put out great stuff and great work. And also their studio is like really good in terms of working. Their work environment is really nice. It's a bit stressful, but that's a Japanese studio, so you kind of expect
For me,
that,
the
but
only
it's like,
times I see better CG than Polygon is when the company is only CG. Polygon is,
Yeah.
even though they use CG primarily, they're still an animation like studio. Like they make anime and all this other stuff. The only time I see them being beat is from a CG studio who makes like trailers or like game cutscenes or
Mhm.
whatever. Now like that's it. Like where they're just like, yeah, our whole like entire building is like a CG rendering farm,
Mhm.
and that's it. It's
Okay.
it's wild. Yeah,
Y'all
definitely check them out.
Y'all sold it. Anybody that might have been.
I mean, I don't know if the anime is gonna be good. I don't know if this is gonna be good, but
from what I read of the manga, it was fine. It was cool. I feel like it's gonna be a nice little watch.
it's
Nothing
kind of
big,
like
but
it's kind of like having the platinum logo on any game. I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot every time. So with like a Polygon, it's like make that Polygon. I'm like, I'll check it out.
that's actually a good example. Yeah, that's actually a really good example right there.
I'll check it out for sure.
Nope.
It's y'all be trying to get. Oh, let me go watch all these. Oh God, man, that sounds so.
They're good. I can't lie. Polygon
They're
Picture,
pretty good.
it's good.
I remember when
It's
y'all
pretty
were
good.
really enjoying the like when Godzilla won, because we did that, and y'all were the trailers and the fear that it lived up to it as well as really.
I
really
thought it
nice.
was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
It was great.
Okay, moving on. We have more anime news in the bucket. There's a bunch of new stuff. A
Yeah.
bunch of new anime coming to Netflix. We had this conversation, I think, last week, possibly.
Mhm.
Netflix, as a binge platform, finally realizes that the weebs are where the money's at, and we gotta bring more shit for the weebs. So we got a bunch. The most notable one, I think, that surprised a lot of people was that Dragon's Dogma is getting an anime.
Yup.
Slapdown game. Slapdown.
Mhm.
Which should be pretty fun. I think you can definitely. I do wonder how they're gonna, what approach they're gonna take with that game or with that game adaptation.
What's interesting is that I think this might end up being a CGI anime.
Well, it's made by the people who made the 009 Cyber.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. We still have to see the staff because this might be a thing of like the director might be CGI heavy or stuff, but
Without a doubt.
yeah.
And for those
So as soon as we get the staff, yeah.
and for those wondering, those that don't know what Dragon's Dogma is about, it follows a man seeking a revenge on a dragon who stole his heart. On his way, the man is brought back to life as an arisen. An action adventure about a man challenged by demons who represent the 7 deadly sins.
Imagine Berserk with Shadow of the Colossus.
See, but that's going to be the big thing, is can they capture that feel in the show? I think it's not going game to show is not as hard as going the other way.
No, I think game to anime is really easy.
I think you just have to know how to set the moments up, know how to create that feel. It's a.
I think scale will help, even
Yes,
if they have to blow the
100%.
monsters out of proportion. Because because it's a PS3 game, and some of those monsters aren't that big when you climb on them. But I think if they like blow it up in the anime with scale, I think it'll be like, okay,
I think,
I totally get.
but I think
that.
Plus, making it all cinematic and having like all these cinematic angles and stuff like that, I think will be pretty interesting to see how they handle that.
along with that, we got Wit coming out with Vampire in the Garden and Bones with Super Crooks.
So this is super interesting. This is based off a comic by Mark Millar, who did what was it called? Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass. So the creator of Kick-Ass, he made this comic, Super Crooks, and Studio Bones is making an anime for him. So that's a thing. And another so two other titles that I think are very interesting. Shaz, do you know the anime or manga Spriggan?
Yes, I believe so.
David Production is currently in the works of making an anime series adaptation of that.
David Pro. Okay.
Yep. And also Studio Anima, the studio responsible for Kingsglaive Final Fantasy,
Jesus
movie.
Christ.
Yeah, they're making an Altered Carbon re-sleeved anime feature. For anyone who doesn't know, Altered Carbon is a live-action Netflix show, and it's getting more content with a anime adaptation by the Kingsglaive studio. So
let's put David Pro in these old 80s.
Yep.
Also, production.
Freaking old as fuck.
Production
It
IG
is.
on
It is.
the production
New Ghost
IG
in the Shell.
Yeah, the new Ghost in the Shell. So there's a lot of stuff. Once again, if you have and going into 2020 and beyond, it looks like if you have a Netflix subscription, you're not going to be, and you're looking for anime to watch.
A lot of original titles going on there, man.
Like Netflix, I mean, they've kind of always been that company where, or they figured it out, we'll say, to where they do tend to do stuff right. Like, even if they misstep, they tend to course correct and really, like, get to a point where, hey, like, we know what shows that, and this goes to Netflix being a Western company, we know what shows that we think will work as an anime or as a thing, as an animation that will work in the Western market and will have a lot of popularity.
We're testing with like Polygon as well and raise it up as a baby, because Polygon people, I didn't know about Polygon until like Knights of Sidonia. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know. And then we're just like, we're gonna give you money and time, and then they were like, oh, okay, this is like actually good. And they got Production IG, which is godlike, Wit and Bones, and it's like, okay, you got like the ones that people mostly care about right now. So
and now they're adding in David Production and everything. So it's
that's
like
a huge get. Like those are huge gets. And again, we talked about this before, where the whole binging thing, so you don't have to worry about cliffhangers, you don't have to worry about time slots, you don't have to worry about stress, where it's like you have to get this done by this month because it's literally gonna air this season. You know what I mean?
Also, Netflix in general also putting in more money into these studios and funding these productions. Yeah.
They spent a lot of money on anime. How much did they say? Like $2 billion? Something like crazy?
They spent $1 billion. They spent a good amount of money on that shit.
A lot of money. So again, if you give, surprisingly, hey, even a decent studio money and time, they're gonna make something decent.
I mean,
like,
it's that whole thing, right? What is it? Like time, quality, and cost. And if you can generally only get two, so if you can remove if you can remove time, if somebody's like, hey, just give it to us when you're done with it. Then all of a sudden, people can be like, "Oh, really? Okay."
I can spend a whole 3 years.
Quality, and the other two just shoot all the way up.
Well, let me put it this way: if you get infinite time and they give you infinite money,
your quality. That's where you get to a point where you can say like, "Yo, why is this trash? Why is this trash?"
Yeah, Alejandro and I watched Be the Beginning on Netflix, and we're like, if this was on TV, this would be garbage. This would be hot garbage. But because they got time and money, it was actually decent. It was not like amazing. Animation was great. But the story and everything was like whatever kind of. But we're like, this is the power. This is the power where you can, any decent company or a company who would be trash on a network television would be like, y'all got something here.
Also, I think that goes to
the anthem.
That goes to younger studios as well. Yes. Like, to me, younger studios, it's perfect for them because they have the energy, the drive, to like, hey, we want to do something super ambitious. And sometimes they're put in positions where it's like, well, but you got to have it out by this day. And anybody that's ever tried to make something knows that the idea that you start with is generally much bigger. Like your very first project is this huge idea that doesn't end up working.
I imagine it's a lot less stressful for younger companies as well, because instead of being told you have a year to make this, you have 2.5, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, I think,
after we're done with the year, we can go back, revise.
And-
Giving people too much time is a bad thing as well, because people can mix it up. But I think
Yep.
getting the year done, like the bare minimum done, re-rendering stuff, rewriting stuff, redrawing stuff, going over ideas, taking stuff out, getting stuff for like being able to work with better voice actors because of scheduling stuff. And it's like, when you have more time and more money, you can just do more things, and it's super easy. And you have way more time to relax and just like work on other projects, like think about stuff. If you have a whole year to just think about like, what's our next project, because we already finished this, we're done with this, we're Gucci on this.
And that's a big thing. Like the thing that's great about this is that like Studio Bones, they're usually like studios like Studio Bones and Wood Studio and all that stuff. They're busy with their own thing. So it's like the only reason they can make these animes that they're currently working on right now, the only reason they can do it is because of Netflix going like, hey, so here's some money. You can spend some time and have that on the side. I know you're working on like My Hero Academia and shit like that. So it's like, it's really cool to see like we can see more because of Netflix putting in the money to give us more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it's going to be super dangerous, because we talked about how also a lot of anime series would just put like an hour or two special for like their first season to like get us started. T and I talked about this, where it's like an anime would put 4 episodes out to like, because we always talk about like the 3 episode rule. Yeah, where straight up, that's a pilot. That was just a pilot. We talked about it. We're like, that was a pilot.
Like
Let's be real here. That was a pilot. And guess what? It got super popular, and the second season was godlike. It was great. But straight up, an anime will put out 4 episodes so that people can like get really invested into it. And with Netflix, if you have just have all of it available, people can just binge it without feeling like they lost a lot of times, without having to wait. Because it's still the same amount of time you're watching it, but it's not over 3 months. You're just watching it in 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's still the same amount of time you'd watch it. It's still 6 hours, but it's just in one day. And you're like, whatever. I didn't lose anything.
And if I'm being honest, for the studios, like the amount of pressure is different, right?
Yeah.
Like the idea of, and this goes to anybody that's ever been in school, right? When you have that project that looms over you the whole semester,
yeah,
it feels more taxing than like the project that's like, okay, you have a month to do it, get it, turn it in, and you kind of have what almost, it's not necessarily a relaxing period, but the pressure, you have a chance to almost recover from the pressure before, whereas this like, hey, every single week you have to do this thing, and then you spend the entire gap recovering, where it's like they put this anime out, they can be like, cool, we'll give it 2 weeks, see how people react to it, see how people like feel about it, and we come back 2 weeks later after we've turned in the whole thing. All right, season 2, because Netflix is really good about being like, oh, this is really popular. All right, a week and a half, 2 weeks later,
pick it up.
There'll be a second season. All right, so they'll be like, hey, you have another year and a half, 2 years. Get on it, and now they can look at it and be like, yo, okay, they're saying this was good. They didn't really feel this. How did we miss the mark here? And that's why I think also with a lot of shows on Netflix, they end up developing into better and better seasons because you have almost instantaneous response of the whole project.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all of us know, like, when you're watching an anime week to week, you can be like, this feels all right. And then you get to the end, and you're like, "What was that?"
Well, yeah. Why did I?
Or this?
That's the big thing with me. I'm more of a binger, so it's like Netflix is literally the perfect thing for me.
Week to week, anime feels like high school, while Netflix anime feels like college.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we're letting you know, like the college professor, like, we're letting you know what this is at the end of the semester right now, or this project or whatever. But with week to week high school homework, it's like, okay, I have to worry about like 5, 6 classes, 7 classes every day. The teachers don't talk to each other, so they just dump all this homework on you, and you're just hoping that you can get through it. Like, that's how I imagine when like I see like Bones or other anime studios have like 2 anime in a year. I'm like, you guys are crazy. You're gonna burn yourself out, you know. So
What's up, Strix?
that's gross.
Focus on the fucking what was I gonna say? Overall, like it ends up being I think you hit on it, Chaz. Like, I don't know how many people, like, I'll give a personal example. Had ReZero come out as a complete package, I think I would have liked the show a lot more.
Without a doubt.
Because
That show
there was a, like, when you get shows like that, like, or even
Where's
the
the
week to
slow
week, the
burn?
cliffhangers. Where
Those are
on,
the worst.
like, you
Those
know
are the
how
worst.
in anime, anybody that watches it, at a certain point when you're wrapping up the season, every episode's a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah, because they have to get you back. Like I said with Netflix, they don't have to worry about that. They
Yeah.
know you're there. You already paid for Netflix.
Bro, all you gotta do is click the up next button, like the play. Just go ahead, click it.
Strix.
You don't even need to do that. You just wait the 15
Yeah.
seconds. And, already
And
playing.
Strix, you already paid for Netflix, bro. They don't care.
Yeah. Mm.
There's no cliffhanger.
Mm.
I think cliffhangers can work without a doubt. They would exist for a reason. But I think with Netflix and binging, that we've gotten so exhausted of cliffhangers for the 20 years, almost 30 years we've been alive watching anime.
So here's
where it's
like,
like-
I'll give you
like-
I'll give you the two. This is what I'll put on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two different perspectives. Normal television.
Mm-hmm.
We got to keep you coming back week to week. We got to keep you coming to our building week to week to buy food, we'll say, as a restaurant. Netflix is like, hey, we're a buffet. You can, but when you come in, we'll make sure you get full. When you got the time, come through, sit down, stay for a few hours, relax, open up your belt, get a couple plates, and I
think
and that's the thing. It's the model that matters. It's like, right, like Netflix has always been oh, I want to watch this thing. Okay, cool. I'm gonna have my lazy day is Netflix, where I just
And what's great about Netflix is like, it's still like watching a Netflix show and watching a show specifically made for Netflix. It still has those cliffhangers. But the thing that's great about Netflix is that you get to see exactly what happens as soon as that episode finishes. It's like, oh yeah, it's cliffhanger. Well, let's see what's next. You don't have to wait that week.
Yeah.
And that's why I much prefer, like, I don't like waiting a week. I just want to watch it.
And we've already talked about as well. We've also already talked about as well that like how that changes the writing of stories.
Yes.
Like I've always been of the opinion that books tend to play out story-wise in terms of pacing better than movies and television, or television we'll say, not to go specifically to movies, but television. Because with books, you are in control of the pacing a lot of senses. Mm-hmm. You want to read faster and read more? Cool, do that. And Netflix kind of reacted to that and created that for the television market, where it's like, I mean, if you want to watch the entire season in a day, cool. Maybe you can't. All right, cool. But it's not written in such a way where you want to it's almost like the arc format. Like, here's story arc and it's done. We set up the next one. You kind of get a few tidbits of it. And if you want to start, you can, but you don't have to.
I would argue any shows on Netflix can have animation movies or whatever you have on there can have even a slower burn because they expect you to binge it.
Mm-hmm.
If they had like there's shows like Monster or whatever that came out week to week and it was like, okay, I love this show, but it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like mystery every week. It's like a super slow burn. But I guess I would argue on Netflix you can have an even slower burn because they know you're gonna watch the episodes back to back and you won't feel so burnt out.
Like Shaz, imagine watching Devilman Crybaby weekly.
No, that would have been terrible. That actually would have been garbage.
And that's
it just doesn't work. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It just doesn't work.
Netflix is coming for your neck.
They kind of are. They kind of are.
Online streaming services in general.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the day and age that we're in.
Also, Netflix's UI is clean.
If you have a cable line, what you doing is 2019.
I gave up my cable a few months ago, honestly.
I convinced my dad to get. I mean, I've been trying to convince it. He wanted to get rid of it too. He just couldn't because of sports, but he got a Roku.
I kept it because of Conan.
I mean, you can hit hit up fucking website for like NFL Network now and get all the games with the they all have.
He
them
knows.
Now.
No, he knows.
Yeah.
No, he bought himself a Roku box and he was like, "No, I'm gonna do it this way." And I'm like, "Okay, you got it."
Old. All right, we got through all the anime stuff. Weebs.
Well, there's one more anime related thing that we need to talk about.
Weebs. What anime thing left do we have to?
Grand Blue Fantasy.
That's a video game.
But that's an anime video game.
No, it's a video game.
It's a mobile game first, guys. Please.
It's a fucking video game, you degenerate.
I'm dying.
After all this, I guess that's where we're starting. Nice job just taking control of the docket.
Ale isn't a true web. Hey.
All right, so side games came out. We just talked about them for a while.
Why is your screen so dark?
Because because the trailer is not providing light to my face currently.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch this. I'm gonna disappear into the darkness.
This should be fine. They probably won't care about this.
They won't care about me. All right, let's see. Hello, everybody. There, see? Granblue Fantasy. This is another Arc System fighting game, which, God, how many more mechanics are going to be there? I'm just waiting for whatever new mechanic is in this game.
This game actually looks really tame compared to a bunch of other
Gacha summoning
games.
Gacha summoning
Oh
RNG.
my God.
I'm ready. It looks so good, dude.
But
So I think the interesting thing is like the basic fighting gameplay mechanics look very simple. It looks very
Look at these
slow, it looks
Guilty
very
Gear
nice.
cutscenes.
Yeah.
Look at these Guilty Gear camera movement. It's so like.
Except the models here are really detailed.
Yeah,
Like these
they're really
character models look way more detailed.
Well, they
compared
got
to
they got side games money. So
it looks like something straight out of an anime. Like 100%. Like they just translated that into a fighting game immediately. Oh, God.
Imagine a Fate fighting game, but with this graphic engine.
Okay. I'm really looking at this, trying to figure out, like, yo, where's the bullshit? Where?
Well, that's one thing. What the fuck was that?
Huh?
Have you seen this trailer before?
No, I have not.
You really have? Okay. I can't wait till this.
The docket gets solidified like 5 minutes before showtime.
these Unga characters, bro.
So, summonings are a thing.
Yeah, I know.
So we were just talking about non-bullshit mechanics, and you're like, I don't think this game really has any. Nah. How did you?
I knew about the summonings part. I didn't watch the trailer, but I knew about the
Dear
summonings part.
fucking lord.
What?
That's gonna be a fighting game.
You don't want Garuda to help you out in your combo tricks? What's going on?
I don't want Garuda to help me out in my combo. I want to like. It brings me back to so many. Dear Lord.
This game has stands, man.
Like, all right, I'm gonna bring the conversation. We've had it multiple times, and I want to bring it up. Arc Systems.
Yo.
I know that you love working on video games. Y'all don't need to pull from every other genre of video game to find new mechanics for fighting
Strix.
games.
Okay, Strix. I would say that's a fair point for other fighting game companies, except that ArcSys is making like 10 right now.
Or don't make 10 at one time.
Well, people are paying them to make 10, and they're a small company.
And they're still good, so.
Like, we're not gonna talk about like, because we can go down the list, like Guilty Gear's whole blocking system. And like how many different colors and what they mean and the different properties before you get to anything else. They helped publish Eunice. They didn't necessarily work on it. Look at fucking you. Look at Cross Tag. Look, like these are games where they're just like, what's the saying that they always ask in like science fiction? They always are asking, can we? They should be asking, should we?
Oh,
They like at what point do we just be like y'all are gonna be mad when all of a sudden they're like, yeah, so we thought that like the Dragon Ball beam struggle mechanic was cool, but it needed to be updated into modern day, so we turned it into a third-person shooter sequence where you have to match your opponent's angles with your character to keep the beam
100% that'll happen. 100% that'll happen.
And that's where
I can almost guarantee there's gonna be an update where there's an anime update where if you do air Gallic gun versus ground Kamehameha angle,
It's not
there's
gonna
be
happen.
look, no, not
don't
this
see
version,
that.
not fighters. But in the
Where's
future,
the
they'll
controller?
have something.
Where's the controller? Yeah, like just imagine like you're trying to match the angle with your controller, like trying to like, oh wait, it's that.
Square beats triangle, triangle beats square, or circle beats square.
Since we're on this, real quick, also on the news, Kid Goku from Dragon Ball GT is also
That's
confirmed to be.
believed.
No, it's confirmed.
It was on the
It's been
website. Now,
No. It's confirmed.
What do you mean by confirmed?
As in, it's confirmed.
They got the. I think they data mined him out as well, which is. Man, Japanese companies need to get better.
The thing is that there's also speculation though that he has you'll be able to go Super Saiyan 4. There's a lot of speculation surrounding that because he has some knowledge about it being
So I just
him having a secret
Super Saiyan 4.
because he has a secret level 3 or some shit like that. It's something weird with his level 3 that
I just want it
people
to
are
be Super
believing is
Saiyan
gonna.
4, man.
It'll probably be just like Gohan's install, where you can stay Super Saiyan 4 for only as long as how many bars you spend.
I think my issue with this is the fact that it's Goku. Why another Goku?
Because
Why
like
are we
people,
actually-
Okay, Super
let's,
Saiyan 4 is cool
no,
as hell.
like,
Come
I
on,
wanna be-
dog.
I'm gonna-
No, I know, but why Kid Goku?
I want to
Why
make the point. I want to make the point to
Because that's what he was in GT.
I'm trying to make the point.
Just
to
give
people.
us 4.
No, people don't get that like as much as we meme it. Not you want we. Goku is Dragon Ball. Like I don't care how many times you think about it. Fuck Vegeta.
Okay, I don't care
Fuck
though.
Gohan. Fuck everybody.
I don't care. It's not even that. It's not even
You
that.
have
it's
to
just
cover all the
you're
versions of Goku because and I only say this because Arxis with fighters committed away from the Budokai model. Budokai solved it by letting you just have the character and you can go to whatever transformation. When you don't
Strix.
have that,
It got confirmed via monthly V Jump in Japan in a scan.
Yep.
They just straight up said, "Yeah, Kid Goku's in it."
Yeah.
I never know. Look. After Sakurai, some of these fucking Japanese companies did tell
That's
people to
not.
sit the fuck down. Nah,
It's not.
just don't release the character. Just release somebody completely.
I
Actually,
woke up this
release
morning.
Mr. Popo. Hit them bitches like data mine again, Mr.
I
Popo.
woke up this morning, my friend going like, "I told you GT was gonna be in this game," and as soon as I saw that article, I was like, "Damn, Kid Goku, why? Just give us Super Saiyan 4, man.
No.
Fuck you. Just give us Super
Because
Saiyan
then
4.
if you do that, then you have to wait for them to give you Kid Goku as a separate character.
Just don't give us Kid Goku. Just don't do it. Because look at this. See, okay, so we have like we had those 2 characters that came out. We had Jiren and Videl. All right, those came out, and we already confirmed that it's like Gogeta and Broly. Who are these next 2 characters? That could have been like the perfect promotion where it's like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That could have been like the perfect promo right there.
The thing I have with that though is legit. So this is me being. If they're gonna do that, I would rather them also include like baby Vegeta that the
Give me
level
Omega
3 that
Shenron.
you can.
I want
get
Omega
to.
Shenron.
Give me Omega Shenron and Baby
Give
Vegeta.
me baby. Yeah.
But I'm saying that like
No,
the
not
idea,
Baby Vegeta.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said.
I would rather
That's what
have
I said.
baby. Oh no, like I'm 100% with
Yeah.
you that I don't want any more Goku characters. But the way they've set up the model is like for you to have another version of Goku in the game, you either make a completely new character or you kind of stack them. I'd rather have Kid Goku and Super Saiyan 4 combined than to have Kid Goku and Super Saiyan 4.
It's funny because they did say they didn't want like 30 different versions of the character, but for me that means they're not gonna have a Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan God with like Kaioken as separate characters. That's what I get. People are like, "These are so many Gokus," but I'm like, "Yeah, they're different Gokus at different points of his life." That makes kind of sense without different forms. Like you have normal Goku, makes sense. Super Saiyan Goku that can go Super Saiyan 3. Makes sense.
Mhm.
You have God Goku. Super's a thing right now. Makes sense. And he can go Kaioken in a super. And you have GT Goku
But
with
that's
Kid Goku.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
that makes
But,
sense.
but why not have it? Because we have Go Tanks, right?
Yeah.
And that animation is like, all right, we don't need Goten and
Trunks.
Trunks. It's like we have them in the beginning of the animation, so why not have it be all right? Have a little animation for Kid Goku turning into.
Bet there's a Gogeta pack. Bet. Super Saiyan 4 and Super Broly Gogeta.
Yeah, like I think that's the thing is like you're looking at it as a because there's a whole bunch of characters. Either the way they would have to do it is 100% commit to the like saga model almost. Like we're covering this saga, so we're gonna give you characters from this saga.
Mhm.
So in that case, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku would have come out at the same time as Goten.
Yeah.
Like they would have
Again-
had it staggered that way. When you
Like,
commit to just like we're gonna cover like most of Dragon Ball Z in the based game.
Mm-hmm. For me, that's how I see it when she said we're not gonna have multiples of the same character. Where it's like I'm not gonna have a Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3 like in Budokai because that doesn't make sense. They really don't. You know, it's like you'd rather just have those characters as part of supers.
And
it's like okay, and people who want them, they'll just mod the characters to be Super Saiyan 3 all the time, like they do already.
And my
Like-
next question would be is like, are we not at the point? Like, can we argue that most of what they've hit on are very, I don't want to say dramatic, but very significant differences or portions of Goku. Like, Kid
They
Goku
are.
is a significant changed
Yeah,
to Goku
pretty
as
big.
the character.
Yeah.
Whereas Super Saiyan God was a significant turning point for Goku. Trying to think of Dragon Ball has so many fucking versions of Goku. at this
They're
point
all
in
they're
time.
all
Yeah.
different tiers too.
Yeah.
Like they all play differently. They're all super different tiers.
And that's what I mean.
Which I think,
Why I think
which
it's
I think
okay.
the good balancing from Arxis, where they're like, we're gonna make each one feel different. They might not look all that different, but they are different.
Yeah.
They do play the base Go. I would never play base Goku or Blue Goku. I would just prefer Super Saiyan because Blue and base Goku just don't feel right to me. They don't play.
But I think
they
that's a
don't
good thing.
play that good.
That to me,
Mhm.
that is what ends up mattering. Like as much as people like the joke is like there's so many Gokus in the game.
They do play different.
If you make it so that you open an avenue to a different version of play, because I'm trying to remember, I don't remember GT at all, and how Goku really Kid Goku fought. For me to be able to address and like think
Did he
about
use
like
the pull?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Can they have a style that is?
In Game Matsu, they said one of his things will be a power pole move or something.
But that's
Okay.
what I'm thinking is are they gonna? Can they play with that? Because also they're not going back to like. They haven't really gone back into Dragon Ball super heavily for characters, so we're not gonna get that Kid Goku.
I mean, we
So-
don't know. They could be.
But what I'm saying
For
is
later.
you pull kind
Yeah.
of elements from both to say like, well, when he was a kid, he did this, and he kind of remembers that. So this is a combination.
I
of-
don't see why you wouldn't be able to, because I think that's the best thing about Arxis is that they're like, we're gonna take it to the degree, because unfortunately, for better or worse, Dragon Ball attacks and like just like martial arts isn't that different from character to character, and they've done a really good job of like making each character distinct, even from this like the same character like Goku. So I wouldn't be worried. I'm sure there'll be pull attacks because I think there's a pull super. There's like a super Kamehameha or super a spirit bomb, like they said when he was using against like Super 17 or whatever. I'm sure there'll be little things that we didn't think about because we probably haven't watched GT, and little moments here and there that they'll like exaggerate on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what makes me interested, is that it's just like it's not even or they could just be original moves that they're like, oh, this probably would work in GT or something like that, So, and I'm sure with Super Saiyan 4 it'll be like Big Bang, not Big Bang because that's Gogeta, but it'll be like Kamehameha times 10 or whatever it was
Yeah.
in GT. And if they want to play up the whole like Super Saiyan 4 is way more aggressive, they can make him way more rushdown too.
Yeah.
They can make him like have like crazy shit, because that's the whole point of Super Saiyan 4
that's
is that
what
you like
that's what I'm saying though. Is like all of that should be included.
I think so.
I think it'll be fine. Dragon Ball FighterZ hasn't had like a huge misstep with characters yet. They haven't had like a Negan.
I'm not worried because there's not been a character even with Goku's or Vegeta's where they're like people are like, this is way too similar. Yeah, they're like, this is way too similar. It's like, no, they're not.
They really do play different.
Yeah, top players will be like, no, these characters are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they're not on my team, because their assists don't work with this character, their supers aren't worth it for this much amount, their damage isn't good enough, their auto combo isn't worth this much, like their cross up isn't as good.
The best Goku right now is Bardock. Like people
You're
don't
not
play
wrong.
the other. Yeah, the people don't play the other Gokus because Bardock is.
Although they
the
did nerf
definitive-
him,
yeah.
they did nerf him, but
They did.
one of the best characters is fucking Yamcha, and he's like one of the worst characters in Dragon Ball history.
Hey.
But he's super good in fighters
Yeah.
because his whole thing in the show was that he did Rekkas with Wolf Fang Fist. Like,
Yep.
So, Dragon Ball, and I forget how. What
I want to get back into that game.
How do we
man.
get here, Grand Blue?
Grand Blue, yeah.
Yeah, Grand
because
Blue. Yeah.
Arxis.
Anime,
So, yeah, Arxis-
anime's out there.
Look, if you want to get into fighting games, please play Arxis games.
Play Eunice.
Yep.
Just play Eunice.
You
I'm
play
not
Eunice.
Gonna, I'm not.
Play
Gonna,
Eunice. Yeah.
with that
You-
all said and done,
It's so good.
not to be beaten out. Live action came back with a smacking. The Grid has returned,
The Grid. There's more for Dom.
and we're gonna be talking about the new
I'm sorry.
trailer for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, where we actually get some of the more Megazord action.
Dude, Magnet
And-
Defender's my boy.
Magna, man, I don't know, man. His play style,
Did you watch this trailer?
yes, it's already got me. a
Okay,
little
so
worried.
I saw Max react to this. Max,
Yeah, me too.
Please check him out. And he was like, you know what? They're like, the developers were like, you know what? They definitely want to just see combos. So let me just.
Yup.
This looks sick. This honestly looks really
I
sick.
appreciate that they're putting characters like Goldar because it just opens up the place for villains and not just Rangers. I
Well,
really
if I'm
appreciate
also
that.
kind of being honest, like they're not overselling this game.
They're not.
This is a $20 Power Rangers fighting game.
Yeah.
And it
We
looks good for
consulted
$20.
people
Yeah,
that are major and team-based fighters to help us make
That
this.
looks so sick, dog.
And we're not trying to blow this out of proportion.
Also, I'm kind of interested actually more in the comic now because of Lord Draken and all these original
It's pretty
comic
good. It's a
characters,
pretty good
like the Pink Ranger and the Black Ranger, where they just have like guns and crazy shit. I'm like, what?
I think Comic Storian tackled the comics.
But it's also
Maybe.
it's a pretty good comic. I recommend checking it out. Also, we see a variety of characters that aren't just swords and daggers.
Yes.
Megazord Ultras. They have a few different ones. Some of these are fucking insane.
The fact that you can just have the tail come in for an assist as a hit confirm.
God, this.
No, this looks cool. This looks really cool.
I'm buying it. It's $20, dude. Like, come on.
It's 20 whole dollars.
Because it's $20, but it's pretty obvious that they're showing that they
It's
put
also-
a lot of care and attention to this
It's
game.
also refreshing just to have like a developer like put effort a lot into a game, but be reasonable with their expectations. Like, we know this is not gonna go crazy. We want as many people to play it and have hope for the future. So let's make it $20.
Yeah.
You know, you see that when Nintendo when they make games like for like $40 and other stuff, and I appreciate other companies doing it. I'm not saying people are gonna be. I hate the mentality of like, oh, $60 means they only $60 games are worth playing. I hate that mentality.
Yeah.
But it's like, if they're being smart with the business, because it's a business, you know, I can't be mad at them for being like, guys, don't expect a lot. It's a $20 game. We're not going to put that many characters in, but we're doing our best to make the fundamentals of the game be good. 100% if Marvel Infinite was $20, I think it'd be a lot better. People would not have been mad. Because the expectations were too high with the $60 video game. Way too high for that game, being honest. I know that game is still good mechanically, but everything else was just, you know, not to that standard, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to people speaking in chat, there's only one Ranger past when I think most people know about Power Rangers.
I know all the Power Rangers in there.
One
Except for
person
I think one of the Rangers in that game is SPD too. So.
Yeah, there's only,
Yeah.
but they only have one
Cat.
Ranger that's past SPD in that game. That
Mhm.
you would have to watch the show. If you didn't read the comics, you're not going to know 3 of them. But that's because most people haven't read the actual.
That's
comics
fine.
Anyway. I'm
this
not
is
gonna.
just-
They're not TV show. There's only one that's actually like super
the
modern.
Megaforce, right?
Yeah. With that all said, it's a cool game. It's $20. It's been developing really well, over the past few weeks. It's definitely looking interesting. It's $20, so we'll probably play it when it comes out, and you can hear more of our thoughts, and we'll probably come back to this and be able to say like, hey, okay, like this is what you get from a $20 fighting game.
Yeah.
Like,
We're gonna be checking it out, so we'll be straight up and be like, all right, yeah, this is trash or not.
I mean, unless you want to pay me, I'll say whatever you want to say. I'm just saying.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored. You
No.
know, you can buy my truth. All right.
Hey,
Truth
Power
is-
Rangers, there's a group of 3 little content creators.
I didn't say.
who
I
really
didn't say
wanna play your
3.
games.
Look, I just said me. I'm not gonna speak for other people.
Hashtag sponsor daddy.
Hey,
Sponsor me.
I don't remember.
we
that.
out here.
All right. Next, another game that is coming out that I think is trying to establish a little bit more of a player base is that of Dead or Alive 6. We have some more news with that game in that they, like previous Dead or Alives, have released a Core Fighters version. For those that don't know, Core Fighters is essentially a free version of the game where you are limited to a certain number of, or a certain set of
Is
fighters.
it 4?
4, yes.
Think of it like a Killer Instinct, a little bit, where you can get the game for free. But I think if you want more,
So you can
pay.
play as much as you want, but you can only play these 4 characters.
Mhm.
You don't get the story. You don't get a lot of things, right? But you can play the game if you really want to check out Diora.
If you have that itch.
If you just want to try and see what the system
I
Mhm.
looks at.
wholeheartedly agree and love these ideas. Although sometimes it can
And
go
it's
a
out
little
now.
too far because it's like, unfortunately, you can't account for everybody where you scratch that itch and then
Mhm.
they don't come back to play it. But I
Mhm.
think putting out a free like super mini version where like 4
Just
characters I think
try.
is reasonable enough. Yeah, just try it. Because I think that way people can be like, I don't know if I like it or not. I've watched a ton of videos. I've watched people streaming it, but I don't know if I'll like it. You know,
Yeah.
I like watching it, but I don't know if I'll like playing it. So
It should be good. So if you want to look at it, we
Police
might
are
try it
fucking
out.
insane.
I mean, this would be like a 5-minute tryout, right? Like
yeah.
like us
Yeah.
playing for half an hour where we each.
Is there even online?
Yes, you can play. I don't know if you can do
Okay.
private matches. That's the question.
I think you have to pay for private matches.
Never mind.
I think the private matches are part of the DLC, the $90 DLC.
That actually makes
That's a
sense,
lie.
though.
Stop memeing, you fuck.
No, I'm not even lying. I think that was an actual thing.
There's no way private matches are.
I
like,
will check. I'm checking right
there's
now.
no way.
I'm
No.
Final
checking
Fantasy Dissidia
right
did
now.
do the same thing. I
This
don't
is
know.
the same.
I don't
this is
know
the
if
same
they're
company that has
interested in playing Dissidia. though.
$300 DLC Strix.
We can play.
Come on.
We can play Dissidia as well. I don't mind checking out all these fighting games.
I can play
We're gonna
Dissidia.
be the new Evo. Nevo.
Mm,
New Evo. New Evo.
That's not what. That's not.
New Evo. Excuse me. What did I say
That's
last
not-
night? That's definitely no. That's not what it means.
Yeah, that's not what it means.
What did I say last night? I had a term
That was-
for it.
No,
Nevo was
no, it
something
was-
else.
Um,
What was it? It's not what everybody is thinking. You fucking
I know.
fucks.
I know. I know.
I forgot.
You said something. I don't remember, dude. I don't remember last night.
Yeah, it's not new, but it's like another word. Oh my god, I'll remember it later. Ignore me. Knock off Evo. There we see the man coming through. Knock off Evo. There we go.
It's
Nevo.
KNEVO.
Yeah, Nevo. That's how we go.
Nevo.
There's no private matches in Dead or Alive 6, and that's why we don't buy the game. Fix that. I'm not giving you.
Okay, I might have been misinformed about that being part of the DLC. I think I was listening to a podcast and I thought I heard it there. All right.
Well, what I'll say is them not having private matches is just as bad. So
It's still bad. It's still pretty bad.
That's
good on the
garbage.
game. I'm good on the game.
That's garbage.
Fighters DOA is trying to still establish its place in a market where there are more fighting games than players.
It's unfortunate because everything looked pretty strong until that thing at Evo, and now it almost seems like they're about to miss the boat.
Yep.
It kind of sucks that when Evo is now, literally this year, Evo is now trying to promote as many new or niche games as possible. DOA kind of missed the boat on that when they almost had a guaranteed spot, like 100%. Like, that kind of hurts the business a lot, if I'm being honest. But
And last but not least, for all of the conversation here, we have an announcement that came out. Kind of significant for all the people that didn't own Xboxes back in the day. The Halo Master Chief Collection is being released on PC, along with Halo
a
Reach.
remastered Halo Reach.
Don't point your finger at me, young man. You know rude. That's rude.
A remastered Halo
Y'all are
Reach.
keep your
weird.
thing on me.
And it's coming to PC as well.
Yep. Steam.
Ultra wide FOV options. They're saying they're saying a proper PC port. I've always wanted to play Halo. I personally like Halo 5. Like the free. Was it free? Yeah, it was free on PC. Or that multiplayer was free, and people just didn't ever gravitate towards it. But you can
People didn't like the story, but I heard good things about the multiplayer.
The multiplayer has like all of that stuff for free now, which is really
That's
good.
great.
I'm super excited. I've never played. Okay, my experience with Halo is LAN parties at school with Combat Evolve on PC. But other than that, I've never really played Halo beyond that. So I'm really excited to check out these games, and probably play it on Legendary with friends and shit. Just fuck
It's
around.
It's a fun experience.
Yeah.
Hit me up when y'all want to play multiplayer, and we can chill out and play for a little bit because.
Hey, man.
God,
I
I
know a
never want
bunch
to
of
play
people
those
who are
stories.
excited
I
for
never
this
want to
game.
play those stories again. I love the games. I love the books. I love the world. But fuck Legendary and with all the skulls on and all the other. bullshit.
Me, you, and Naj and Blackjack. Come on.
So you, Shaz, Blackjack, and a 9 running through that.
No, you missed me with that shit. You tried it. You really tried it just now.
Y'all hit
outta
me.
here.
Y'all hit me up when we get custom matches. Well, y'all want to have a game night?
Hey,
I can show y'all some games.
I'm okay with that. There are a bunch of people.
Like
who I
one
talk
thing,
to
I just
that
need to.
are
We
super
got to
excited,
get
so.
one game of Call of Duty. Wow.
Great
Halo
Ball?
Zombies. Nah, Halo Zombies.
Okay.
Were the truth. People don't know about the Halo Zombies. Zombies on Halo. Oh, they were so good.
The flood shit.
Yep.
Yup, it was basically hide and seek, and then you were running for your fucking life.
Yep.
So good. But it's all the games. So Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Halo 4, Halo 5 is already on PC, along with Halo Reach. You have the entire ability to play through the Halo games.
That's a good ass fucking package right there. Shit, I want that.
And I'm assuming, though, that I'm trying to figure out which one they're going to have, because they have a custom games browser. I'm trying to figure out which one they'll have it for. If they have it for each game, that's kind of insane. That's kind of like ridiculous, like insanely ridiculous.
But yeah.
That's pretty much the last piece of news, though. Probably hear more about it in the coming weeks as that develops. It's not coming anytime soon.
It's set to release near the end of 2019 or early 2020. So yeah, it's not coming.
Not anytime. That's what I'm saying.
So,
Not anytime
yeah.
soon. We'll see actual gameplay and how it looks in a little bit. But that's.
I mean, I imagine it's gonna be like the Xbox One X, because Xbox One X is like high, like 60 FPS with like the max settings. And
This is pretty much what we were talking about before with Microsoft's new move into PC, where they're just like, just do it.
Just
we're not
do it.
Just do it.
The next best announcement would be seeing Gears of War and Forza on Steam. If I get to play Forza,
No,
on
like
motherfucking
this may be
Steam,
okay. It's gonna be on Steam, but I don't honestly care at this point. Like Microsoft, I don't want you to put your shit on Steam. I want you to fix your fucking store. I would have no problem buying from the Microsoft store if it worked better.
Nah, I just want to use Steam.
That's because
Microsoft Store is garbage, though.
It
It's
is.
so bad.
Here's the thing. The reality is, I have to say that because I know people that have had problems with it. I've never had a problem with the Microsoft Store, beyond Gears of War 4 being like 100.
I tried playing Forza on there, and it's like,
No.
I mean, just buy a better PC, scrub. Yeah, I said it. Fight me. But I think that's pretty much
I don't appreciate
everything
that.
for the week. What are your plans going into next week? I will say it right now so nobody else has to say it. I think all of us plan to at least look at Sekiro, if not play it. That's why I said look at. I didn't say play it directly, Shaz. I said look at minimum. Because even if our friends are playing the game, you're going to go support them and watch the game.
You mean Leech?
There it is.
Nah, he was talking about not leeching last night, so I'm not giving him that title anymore. He lost his title. If you
He
walk
was too,
away,
he was too sick.
nah,
to
if you
leech.
walk away from the throne, you give it up.
I was too delirious. I don't know what I was
He
talking
walked
about.
away from the throne.
I'm
and
the
gave
leech
it
god.
up.
Remember that.
Nope.
The Sulk.
Nope.
With how many C's?
None.
75.
There it is.
None. That wasn't even there.
Like yeast.
No. No. But yeah, what are your plans for the week, Shaz? Beyond not dying.
Probably check out the original fighting game we're supposed to check out.
Oh yeah, when do you want to do that? That's a good point.
Probably Tuesday, right? I don't think it's gonna be Tuesday. Are you doing it Tuesday?
I probably
Okay.
am not, but maybe. I don't fucking know.
Okay. Well, we'll check that out. I'm sure
Okay.
I'll cry again. Cross tag.
Mhm.
I'm sure I'll cry trying to learn the mechanics of that game as well. Especially since there's tag mechanics.
Wait,
so...
real question. This is gonna be a side conversation that we could have house stream. How long until Evo? It's the first week of August, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to give it like 2 weeks to every game on the lineup,
I was about to say,
just to make it mad simple. So it's like,
You're
we play
you're
for
not
2
wrong.
weeks,
You're not wrong.
and then we.
I
swap
lied.
over.
We're still playing Eunice, baby.
Yeah. Nah, because I'm trying to switch game to game, week to week. Nah.
Yeah. So there's that. We should be. Yeah. I'm gonna think about Sekiro. I'll think about that. But yeah, just more. Well, I would say more Final Fantasy. I'm gonna be playing Final Fantasy, but really more Destiny, if anything. So, because I'm pretty much caught up in Final Fantasy, just gotta finish some dungeons here and there, maybe get some better gear. But
OTA, the guest was not here because he had to go to work. He was not able to make it.
got hit with the
Like real life.
the call-in.
Yep.
Now on to Alejandro. What is up for your week, Michael?
Yeah, definitely checking out Sekiro. Plan on streaming that when that comes out. But other than that, I don't really got anything else planned. I'm gonna try to stream a bit more before Sekiro comes out, but I don't know. I'm being casual right now. I'm just relaxing, chillaxing, hoping to get a job at some point. Please, Best Buy, please. Job.
Did you put down a Naj as a reference?
No.
Damn, you're not getting that job.
I know.
But in all seriousness, okay, that sounds good. I'm Strix and playing League, Unist, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy. What am I missing?
How have you been enjoying Spider-Man?
What am I missing? I'm missing.
That doesn't answer my question.
I will answer your question.
Destiny.
League, Destiny, Unist. I'm trying to go down the line.
Final Fantasy,
Final
Cross
Fantasy,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I feel like there's one more game that I'm missing. Maybe not on stream. I don't know. Oh, Sekiro.
Sekiro.
I'll play that
Sekiro.
trash ass game.
Ooh, you will. Okay.
Trash ass Western fucking game that ruins all of our fucking action RPGs.
Okay.
I had to channel.
Channel the guest for a second.
Yeah. Nah.
Entiendo, igual.
We'll be playing a bunch. I want to get more time in Spider-Man because ultimately, like, it seems like a solid game. It seems all right.
Mhm.
I personally don't get the hype surrounding it, not because it's a bad game, but because I don't think I'm like an uber Spider-Man fan like everybody else is.
I get that.
What are you talking about?
It's an 8.5. Ollie, actually. Ollie, actually. I'm not talking about you, Mr. Morales. I was going to try to come up with a name, and there's no way it could not sound racist, so just have to
Damn.
wait for that. There's no way I can make a joke that involves, like, come off in the worst way. It's not that, Spider-Man is, like, super bad. It's just, it's a good game. It captures the feel of Spider-Man really well. I think that if you aren't, like, the biggest Spider-Man fan ever, or, like, a super big, like superhero, like, in the comic fighter, fan, then it's just like, oh, okay. It's a good game. It's been fun. And maybe it just starts off slow, which is what I've been hearing for some people.
It picks up pace.
So we'll see. I want to get some more time in that before Sekiro comes out, because I'm not gonna lie, what may happen is Sekiro. If Sekiro falls in line with other From Software games, I'll have it beat in like 3 or 4 days. Like 3 or 4 really, really hard hitting days. So we'll see. We'll see. That comes out Friday, a week from today. Oh God, wait. The podcast. That's why we won't have a guest next week on the podcast.
Yeah, you could probably. Well, if you stream it Thursday at midnight, right?
That's true. Thursday midnight, we'll be playing Sekiro.
It comes out Thursday. What? Oh,
Thursday
yeah. I got you.
I'm gonna sell out and do this right now on Friday. Even if I am playing the game, I don't recommend y'all come watch me because I am a sellout in this situation.
Yeah.
Go check out the
boy.
B-Day stream and go check out the dude the dude These Nuts Gaming playing Sekiro.
These Nuts Stepperoo.
If he's playing it, I don't know if he is or isn't.
No, he's playing it.
No, he
Come
is.
on. Yeah, he's playing. Come on.
He's
playing.
If he's playing it, go show my man Nuts some love. You got to go show the Nuts love.
Hashtag TPPG.
All
And
right,
if he's not playing it,
with that, we're ending the stream. I'm done.
Wow.
We're finished. We'll see y'all next week, 8 p.m. Approximately 8 p.m. EST.
damn.
Shaz
Didn't even
may
cover your
still be
mouth or
dead.
anything.
If you want to stick around, chill, hang out, whatever. We're gonna be playing some Unist. So
I'm gonna dip.
no, you're not. You're gonna play Unist.
I'm dipping.
You don't have friends. We are your friends, and therefore you are beholden to our whims.
I got a text and I gotta dip.
No, you don't.
Where you
We'll
going?
see
You
in
broke.
a few minutes.
Okay, but that doesn't mean I can't hang out with other people.
They're not your friends. Why would you ditch your friends to hang out with non-friends?
Well, he said other people, not friends. So.
But like that's.
I mean friends.
Well,
Wow.
he said other people.
Yeah. So why not, are your friends or not?
Yeah.
Now your story's changing. Guess we're not his friends, Shaz.
I do got bits.
We're gonna be playing Unist. So
Units?
we'll swap over to that here in a second. Thank you for coming out.
You know, no, I'm just saying two out of the 3 people here have a combo obsidian, so
2 of the 3 people here are actually good. And those 2 people's first name is Shaz and last name is N. Wow. Yep. We gonna end that way. Yep. We out. Have a good day. I'll see everybody next week.
you didn't have to do it like that. You didn't have to do it like that.
Feel disrespected.
Bye.
I feel disrespected.
Let me.